guys, Schwarzenegger Phillips here with my brand new DVD Blu-ray Tuesday shopping video today. Thinking to go out today, see things came out, see things on sale today. Today, though, some of the big releases to come out is Terminator Dark Fate. And with that one, I don't believe there's any retail exclusive editions of that one, but I do know there's a 4K Steelbook, which is a non-exclusive 4K Steelbook of that one that releases. Also, though, the film Parasite comes out today, as well as Motherless Brooklyn, as well as Harriet. Also, though, at the end of this video is going to be a whole bunch of brand new DVD, Blu-ray, and 4K reviews for some things I received to review and talk about for you guys. Some really cool stuff, so definitely stay tuned for those at the end of this video. And as always too, let me know in the comments below what you guys thought of the DVDs, Blu-rays, and 4Ks that I reviewed, if you guys have seen them, and also if you guys plan on picking any of them up. But anyway though, guys, let's get going and see what we can find today.
Into Target we go.
And also, guys, if you haven't had a chance to check it out, check out the link below to find out about the upcoming horror film Strix that I'm going to be acting in. They have on there on the link below, if you check out my link, you guys can go to an exclusive perk on the movie where you guys can pre-order the film on Blu-ray, and it will be a signed copy of the movie. And from the link that I have, it's actually a cheaper version of the Blu-ray than the standard one that they have on the regular one without the exclusive perk on there. Also, though, there's a bunch of other perks like where you guys can get like a digital download of the film. They have producer perks. They even have a perk where you guys can act in the film with me, so that's one of the ones on there as well. So definitely check out the link below and you guys can find out all about the movie. And thanks again too for all the support and everything, but this one should be a really cool film though.
And right here though on the front I see Terminator Dark Fate, and the 4K edition of the film here, that one is $29.99 for that one, and the Blu-ray DVD combo, that one is $22.99 for that one. They also have an exclusive here for Harriet, and I believe it's an exclusive slipcover on this one. This is the other image, and I believe this is the image that you'll see on the other slipcovers in the other stores and everything, are the non-exclusive edition. This is one that I didn't get to see in theaters, so if you guys have seen this one, let me know how this one was. But this one is $24.99 for the exclusive one. Also though, Motherless Brooklyn, that one released today, and that one's $19.99 for the Blu-ray, and I'll have a review of this one at the end of this video. And then it's $17.99 for the DVD. Other than that though, all the other ones released last week. I don't see Parasite. I'll have to check in the actual section to see if they have Parasite in here or not. Yeah, other than that though, yeah, it seems to be all the same stuff here though.
But over there in the actual section, though, they had the non-exclusive edition of Harriet as well, which has the standard Blu-ray cover on that one. They also did have Parasite there, and that one is $22.99 for Parasite on Blu-ray.
Into Walmart we go.
But in here today, though, there's one horror movie that I'm hoping that they have in here, this Mina Savarni's new film, which sounds kind of interesting. I'm pretty sure they should have it, because I was looking up online, and it looks like they should be carrying it in the stores. It's just like a fingers crossed thing that they hopefully put it out in the actual section, though. We shall see.
But in here, though, in the front, it doesn't look like they have any exclusives of Terminator Dark Fate here. It does look like, though, their copy comes with a bonus digital copy, though, of World War Z, so I'm not sure if that might be exclusive to them here. But the 4K is $29.96 for that. Then it's $22.96 for the DVD Blu-ray combo, and $17.96 for the DVD. Other than that here, though, in the front, it looks like that's all the new things right here in the front, but they always put new stuff over here on the side. But it doesn't look like here either I see anything else new, because all these other things were the past couple weeks, like Black and Blue was last week, Countdown was last week. I did peek over though in the actual section, and I did see some new stuff over here, like right over here there's a couple new things that I see here, like this one that I talked about last week, this zombie film called Dead Earth. This one is $14.99 for that one. I actually really like this one a lot. I thought this like kind of had like a throwback to like those kind of like Italian zombie movies in the 80s. I don't know why, it was really reminding me of that. But this is one I would definitely recommend you guys check out. I really like this one. Both of the main actresses in here too were really good in this one. Other than that though, and that one's $14.96, but this is the one that I wanted to get, this for $12.96, this movie with the Mina Savarni, which I don't, you know, I was reading about it and it sounded kind of interesting. And like I said, this one here is $12.96 for that. This other one released today with David Arquette called Mob Town. It's another one. I don't know anything about this one. If you guys have seen this one, let me know how this one was. Also, though, Harriet here is $22.99 for the Blu-ray DVD combo, and then $17.99 for the DVD of that one. Other than that here, though, trying to see if there's anything else in here just to make sure I don't miss anything. All these other things for the past couple weeks. I don't remember seeing this one called Angels Fallen. I don't remember seeing this one last week, but I think it's been out. I think it may have come out last week, but I just didn't see that one. Other than that, though, over here, they should be next Tuesday, though, changing out this whole section and should be getting in a whole bunch of new stuff, but I don't see anything else new over here. I don't think that MacGyver was this week. I think that was a couple weeks back. I believe so. Other than that, though, TV-wise, I'm not seeing anything new here TV-wise, but luckily enough, though, this one was put out. There's always a pain because sometimes the stuff isn't out, so you have to go to a number of locations to get them. Yeah, but like I said, other than that, though, it doesn't seem like there's anything else. Oh, they do have, right here, that's randomly, in this spot, Parasite. So Parasite is 1996, and I should have a copy of this one soon to review. This is one I've heard really, really good things. Of course, it's up for Best Picture as well. So this is one I definitely want to see for sure, but this was cheaper, though, than it was in Target. So in Target, this one was $22.99 for that one. So yeah, you really do have to kind of check because things are kind of all spread throughout, because like it used to all kind of be like right there in the front where most of the new things, and then like the more indie stuff is over here, but now it's all kind of mixed in, so you always have to really check.
Yeah, so like I was saying, though, I ended up picking up the Apparition one, and there are Apparition one in there, which, like I said, sounds kind of interesting. I don't know tons about it, but from what I read, sounds like a cool concept and everything. But I don't know if you guys are noticing, if you guys are going out today, but man, every one of the stores so far, it's like they're pouncing on you to sign up for like petitions and all this kind of stuff. Like there was like 2 people or 3 people over there when I was going in to go in there, and they were like really like up on everybody. And it was the same thing was going on in Target. There was this really peculiar guy in Target standing there. It's kind of like a Mr. Van Driesen kind of guy standing there. But the guys here, it was like 3 of them pouncing on you, and I don't even know what it was about. It was some kind of thing to sign. They had like, I don't know. I've never seen, I usually see like 1 or 2, but there was 3 people on you. But I think now I'm going to head though over to the one thrift store that I haven't been to in a really long time. I think it's like been a little over a month or something, so fingers crossed, hopefully they have something interesting in there today though.
Into the Valley Thrift Store we go. It seems very busy in here. Let's move by all the shoes. Excuse me. You always see everyone like most amount of shoes on the planet here, but let's see. I definitely see a bunch of movies down here, so at the bottom and everything. It's been like, I don't know, it might be like a little over a month, maybe like a month and a half since I've looked in here. And like all the stuff in here, or like the DVDs are all $1.99, and some of them were like, you know, have different prices if they're marked differently and stuff. But we'll look through here and see, you know, what we can find in here today. And I have found in the past some interesting stuff, but like you never know. It's like sometimes it can be like the same stuff a lot, but it seems like there's definitely a lot more down here on the bottom. It's like double stacked down here on the bottom. So fingers crossed that we can find anything, you know, interesting in here today. And I'll show you guys if I come across anything in here though. This is one of those ones I watched this again recently. Man, this is like one of the saddest movies on the planet. Like I always really liked this movie, but it's just one of those movies that is just such a sad film. It's like one of those ones that's really hard to watch, kind of like Bicentennial Man. Like I always love Bicentennial Man, but that is one that's such a hard movie to watch. If you guys ever come across the Blu-ray of this one for a good price, this one and Airheads are both out of print and like sell for really expensive, especially I think Bedazzled might not be as much as Airheads, but both of them sell for a lot though. If you ever come across them like for cheap, definitely recommend you guys check these out and like, you know, pick those ones up. And I've watched this movie, so I always love this movie though. But like I said, we'll see what we come across in here. And this is like an interesting edition here of Wally in this kind of like paper kind of case like this. I don't remember if this was like an exclusive just somewhere when this one came out, but I don't remember this one for that. And I was looking here at this Curb Your Enthusiasm, and like if you guys haven't been watching the new season of this show, it's like you never know if he can come back and like be just as good as the last one, and it's just as good. Like the new season, it's only been 2 episodes of it so far, but it's excellent. It's like, I don't know, it's one of those shows though where you kind of have to see all the episodes. It's like because he kind of throws back to a lot of other things that like were even things in like early seasons. But if you guys have never seen Curb Your Enthusiasm, that's definitely like an absolute must-watch show. Totally the kind of humor I like, real weird, like problematic humor and everything.
And yeah, I looked through all that stuff in there and nothing really that different. Pretty much relatively common stuff for the most part. Nothing really that rare or different that I didn't have or anything though. And this past weekend, the only movie that I saw in theaters was the film The Turning, which stars Mackenzie Davis and Finn Wolfhard. The movie though is basically though about Mackenzie Davis's character who gets this job to work at this mansion to be a teacher for this girl. Because basically her teacher, you know, again in the movie you see her like running off and like leaving the place real suddenly. So since she left all of a sudden, they have to find someone new, and Mackenzie Davis comes in to be the new teacher. As soon as she gets there, though, she notices that the mansion is like, and the whole place is just kind of weird. She starts kind of like hearing weird things, and in the very beginning as well, the girl's brother shows up from boarding school, you know, and he's played by Finn Wolfhard, and he gets there and he's kind of like acting really peculiar and really strange. And it's like one of those movies though where it's like, you know, everything in it didn't work perfectly, but there was some really cool aspects of the movie. You know, I know this is a story too that they've made into you know, a number of different movies throughout the years. But like I was saying, there's parts of it though that were really cool. Not everything in it was perfect though, but there was some actual creepy scares in the movie. Not exactly like jump scares, but just like some real like creepy aspects to it. It's kind of like hard to say what I would compare it to. And like it definitely has some very strange things that happen in it. But like overall though, it's one of those ones I would say is worth watching. It's just not like 100% perfect at all. If you guys saw that the film The Turning, let me know what you guys thought of that one, or what you guys saw this past weekend if you guys got to check out any new movies.
Into Best Buy we go. Yeah, and right here though on the front they have Terminator Dark Fate on DVD for $14.96, $19.99 for the Blu-ray of that one, and then I guess that's the wrong spot. Yeah, I think these are actually the wrong spots because this is Janson Bob right here, and then Black and Blue, and then Countdown. Yeah, and then Addams Family, so it's all in the wrong spot, but they do have the Terminator Dark Fate 4K Steelbook one here. So this is a really cool Steelbook for this one. So they have a bunch of these ones, but like I said, this is not an exclusive Steelbook because it doesn't have an exclusive sticker, like exclusive to Best Buy or anything like that, but definitely is a cool Steelbook though. Look though on the other side over here though, to see if there's anything else different, like if they have Parasite here. I do see Harriet here for $22.99. That one is in the right spot, but this is the same way with this Steelbook here, the Gemini Man. This is one of the ones that was a Steelbook that wasn't exclusive to anywhere. But I don't see, there's a lot of empty spots here, so there might have like not put it out or anything, so I don't see Parasite right here, but I'll check over in the actual section to see if they have it over there though. And they have a little standee here for Terminator Dark Fate as well. So this one has the correct prices. So it's $22.99 here for the Blu-ray, and then $29.99 for the 4K edition of that one. And they have a thing here going on right now: buy one get one free, $7.99 and up. Looks like it's with Sony titles. And so I guess it's just these ones. I don't know if it's any of the other Sony ones mixed in over here. But over here though, seeing if I see Parasite over here anywhere, and I feel like it would have been in the front and they might have not put it out yet. Oh, no, here it is, right here. So it's $19.99 here as well. So Parasite was, I think it was $19.99 as well at Walmart. I think it was the most expensive, I believe, at Target. Target had for $22.99. They also have Motherless Brooklyn right here, and that one's $19.99 for that one as well. Let me just see if there's anything else different here. It seems like to me I don't see anything else different. And the Steelbook for Dark Fate, that one is $34.99 for that one, for those of you who are wondering how much that one is. Other than that though, that seems to be all the main different things I see here today though.
So anyway, though, guys, that's all for my DVD Blu-ray Tuesday shopping video today. Like I always say, if you guys enjoy these shopping videos, definitely give this video a thumbs up. Also, let me know in the comments below, you know, what you guys picked up on DVD, Blu-ray, or 4K, if you guys picked up anything today. Also, be sure as well to check out the link below where you guys can find out about the horror film Strix I'm going to be acting in, and where you also can go to pre-order, you know, do the pre-order Blu-ray copy of the film, which is be signed by me as well on that one. Also, as well, too, let me know, you know, what you guys thought of the DVDs, Blu-rays, and 4Ks that I reviewed at the end of this video, if you guys have seen them. Also, if you guys plan on picking any of them up. Anyway, guys, thanks so much for watching and subscribing. Now stay tuned for the brand new reviews.
And before we get to the reviews, Paramount sent over a copy of the Terminator Dark Fate 4K Ultra HD Steelbook. And in here it includes the 4K, the Blu-ray, and a digital copy. And like I said, this is not an exclusive Steelbook to like any specific store, but it's a very cool one here. And it has the brand new Terminator here on the front. And then I'll show you guys a look inside. And inside you get the digital copy, as well as the 4K and the Blu-ray disc here. And a look at the back. This is really cool the way this looks like this, because you have the Terminator, the brand new Terminator, and then you have like his human look and how it's like morphing together like this. It's actually a very, very cool Steelbook. I love the image on this one. But yeah, like I said, just wanted to show you guys a closer look at this 4K Ultra HD Steelbook here of Terminator Dark Fate.
And the first one I got here is from Shout Factory. And this is a movie I did not know much about this one going into it. I knew it was directed by Jennifer Kent, who directed The Babadook. So I really liked that movie, but I didn't know much about the plot of this one or anything like that. And I absolutely love this movie. This is an absolute top recommendation, must watch. It's a movie here called The Nightingale. And this one is set in 1825. And it's set during, in Australia, during the time when the British was there, and then the British did not get along with the Irish, and a lot of the Irish were like put in into prisons and arrested. And the one girl, though, she ended up getting taken out of prison by this the one guy who was in the army, who was a soldier, and he ended up getting her out of prison. And basically because of this, he was kind of holding things over her, and she wanted to leave and to get out of where she was and move with her her husband and her child. And he was like saying, oh yeah, I'll get you the papers, you need in order to travel and all this stuff. And he was kept on not doing this, and he was abusing her, and it was awful. The things that he was doing were horrific. And basically, though, in the beginning of this movie, though, something ends up happening, and the guy ends up going to the her house where she lives with her husband and her child, and ends up doing something horrific to her, and ends up the baby ends up getting killed, the husband ends up getting killed, and it ends up being a revenge film because they even thought that she was killed. And it's basically, though, her going and finding an Aborigine guide who she's paying to basically follow the trail of where this guy went, the guy that killed her, her family, and travel, and find him. And he's like, she's saying to the Aborigine guy, though, oh, it's my husband, I have to find him, I have to get to him and everything. And so he doesn't know going into it what this all is, but it's essentially a revenge film about her going this journey through the, Australian bush. And it was just like so well done. Like everything about this movie I loved. It was also shot in full frame, so it gives it like a cool look, filmed in full screen, so it gives it like a really cool look the way it was shot. But like I said, this is one of those movies that it was so well done. The bad guy in here, though, that she's traveling after, who is played by Sam Claflin, who was in things like Me Before You and a bunch of stuff, and he plays such a great bad guy in here, because like normally I haven't seen him play a role like this before, and he does such a great job playing this really bad guy. The other guy who was in here, I never remember his name, but he's a great character actor who is in lots and lots of different stuff. And he was like in the House of Wax remake is one of probably one of his most known American films. But he was in one horror movie that was really pretty cool about these two brothers living on this farm. But he's been in lots and lots of stuff. Also, the Aborigine actor did an amazing job in here. He was so good. Same with the main actress in here, who's the lead. But like I said, all around, this is an absolute must-watch. Has on here, though, cast and crew interviews on this one and a theatrical trailer. The next one here is from Shout Factory's Scream Factory line. This is a movie directed by the Soska sisters, and this is the remake of the David Cronenberg film Rabid, which I always really loved. Rabid. I feel like I always loved David Cronenberg's movie. Rabid, though, was one of my, probably, I wouldn't say my absolute favorite of his, but one that I probably have watched the most, but I pretty much liked most of his movies. But this one here is a really, really well done remake, because, when it comes to some remakes, honestly, some of them don't kind of add things to the movie. They don't, kind of update it or change it and kind of modernize it or give it a kind of a new twist on the whole thing. And I thought the Soska sisters, though, who are, directed American Mary and See No Evil 2 and a bunch of different stuff, directed this one. I thought they both did a great job on this. But essentially, though, this is about this girl who works as a fashion designer, kind of designing dresses and stuff for runway shows and things like that. And she ends up getting into this car accident, and her face ends up getting terribly messed up from this accident. And she ends up going and having these stem cell like kind of research kind of thing done to fix her face, and it ends up, you know, she basically gets like she had some like kind of flaws before that she was kind of you know, self-conscious about and everything, and all that was kind of repaired. So now she's like, you know, basically modeled, has a totally different look and all this confidence and everything, and she wants to even start to, you know, she starts to basically getting to design her own line, because before she kind of just worked for the designer. Now she's like getting to the point where she's design for her own line, but from this surgery, though, it has these weird side effects, and it's giving her these weird sort of things that happen, and it's kind of like anyone that she ends up getting with like gets like this weird virus, and it's like a zombie like kind of thing that happens. And I really like this one. It's super gory as well, but this is one I would highly recommend you guys check out as well. This has on here a commentary track on here with the Soska sisters, as well as behind the scenes with the Soska sisters, and an interview on here, and a theatrical trailer in this one. The next one here is from Shout Factory Scream Factory line as well. This is another movie that I really liked, and glad this one now too finally has a U.S. Blu-ray release, because this one had taken a long time to get a release, and so glad that you know, Shout Factory is releasing this. And it's the movie that stars Matt Dillon, called The House That Jack Built, which is directed by Lars Van Trier. And this is another super intense movie. This is a serial killer film. If you guys are a fan of like Henry Portrait of a Serial Killer, this is definitely like online, you know, a comparable movie to that kind of a film, but almost in some ways more intense with some of what goes on in this, honestly. And this is about Matt Dillon's character telling this, you know, you don't know exactly who he's talking to, but you hear in the beginning he's talking to somebody and kind of telling about his murders, and he's telling about certain, like a couple different of these really memorable murders that he committed. And basically, though, as he tells them, it's done in like vignettes. So it goes to like murder 1, and it talks about the first person he killed, and then one of them was played by Uma Thurman. And it's like, you know, it kind of shows too what Matt Dillon's character does, you know, as well in his life. And like he has this like weird like freezer where he keeps bodies in, and he also is super like neurotic with, paranoid with cleaning. So after he, like, if he goes in her house and like commits a crime, he's like paranoid that that he basically left any evidence. So he has to like basically scrub it down and clean it all the time. So he's always stressing out and getting super paranoid. And this is also a super different role for Matt Dillon. Like, I never thought of Matt Dillon playing this kind of like guy like this, and he did an absolutely outstanding job. And on here, though, this has the theatrical cut of the film as well as the director's cut of the film on here. So it's a 2-disc set, which has, you know, like I said, both ones on here. So I'm really glad that they included the director's cut, because there was a lot of stuff that had to get cut down to, you know, to get it an R-rated release of this one. Also has on here a director, you know, interview with director Lars Van Trier, but another one, definitely, you know, recommend you guys check it out. But if you guys have seen this one as well as the other ones I just talked about, let me know what you guys thought of them. And the next one I got here is from Lionsgate. It's a movie here called Waves. And this one is also an A24 title. This one, though, is basically, though, about this kid who is, you know, on the wrestling team, and his father, played by Sterling K. Brown, is really like, you know, if his son is doing something, he wants him to fully commit to it. So he's basically always like saying, well, you got to be practicing, and you can't be doing this. You got to make sure you're practicing. He even goes and like lifts weights with his son, making sure that he's practicing and saying like, you know, you got to do it good. If you're going to, you know, you have to do the best you can and everything. And early on in this movie, he's basically having like these terrible shoulder pains, and he's taking like pills and stuff for the horrible pain that he's going through. And he doesn't really want to tell his father about this, because he knows his father is going to say, you know, like, you know, well, what are you complaining because you don't want to do this? And, you know, you were the one that said you wanted to do this, and I supported it, and I wanted to make sure you're your best at it. But, you know, he goes on early to the doctors, and it's x-rayed, and he finds out that it was this horrible tear in his shoulder, and the doctor's saying, you know, you got to stop wrestling. You cannot, you need immediate surgery. If you continue to wrestle, you can have can tear it to the point of like the point you have to have an absolute emergency surgery. surgery, and you may never wrestle again. And he's saying, like, even now you may not be able to wrestle again. And he doesn't want to tell his father about this. And of course, though, he goes, and this is earlier on in the movie, he ends up really hurting himself, and it's kind of the downward spiral of what goes from this. And it also follows around his sister, though, and like I said, it's in two kind of different segments, and follows around his sister, you know, with Lucas Hedges' character in the film. But I thought this was a really, really well done character piece. It's also shot too in different aspect ratios, so it kind of goes, and it's like in super widescreen, in full frame in some segments, and also too there was in the beginning credits it says like colorist, and it has a lot of like great colors, the way that it's like treated and everything, the image is treated. But a really, really interesting movie here. Has on here though a commentary track on here with the director and lead actor Calvin Harris Jr., as well as some featurettes on here, deleted scenes, and a Q&A with the director and cast on this one. The next one here is from Lionsgate as well. It's a movie here called Trauma Center, which stars Nikki Whalen and Bruce Willis. This is about Nikki Whalen's character, who ends up her sister has to go to the hospital for something, so she goes in there, and then right when she's like leaving the hospital, because her sister has to go in there for like, she had like I think it was an asthma thing that happened, so she had to be watched overnight because of it, and she ends up having something happen out in the park, like when she's leaving the hospital, while her sister is still in there, and these guys, like, she witnesses, like, something going wrong, and these guys, like, trying to kill this guy, and she ends up getting shot, and she sees these guys, and, so she can, like, and she sees that these guys are, like, she doesn't see him too well, but she like saw enough, and these guys know that she saw. And basically, though, she ends up going to the hospital, so she's in there while her sister's there. And Bruce Willis, his character, is the cop, and he's investigating this because the one guy was his partner. And then it's basically, though, you find out in the beginning of this movie, you see that it's these bad cops that were doing this. And basically, though, this girl, though, Bruce Willis's character is really worried about, like, people coming, you know, basically kind of putting her almost in like a witness protection kind of thing. So they put her into a like a abandoned floor of the hospital. But while she's there, though, these guys, the guys that were, you know, she witnessed like killing this guy, like the one cop and everything, they end up coming back to the hospital because they want to make sure that they take her out because she could talk and say something about them, and, you know, figure out who they were and figure out their cops and everything. So it's basically, though, her in this abandoned wing of the hospital, you know, trying to keep safe from these guys who are trying to get in, and it's like them coming after her. It's a really, really crazy movie here. Like I said, this one here is called Trauma Center. The next one here is from Lionsgate as well. It's a movie here called Arctic Dogs, and this has a lot of different voice actors in here. It has Jeremy Renner, Heidi Klum, James Franco, John Cleese, Michael Madsen, Laurie Holden, Angelica Houston, Alec Baldwin. So a great cast in here. This is basically, though, about an Arctic fox, and this is set in the Arctic, where, like, you know, in order to get like mail in and everything, they have like snow dogs that kind of travel in and bring packages and all that kind of stuff. And this Arctic fox, though, always dreams of wanting to do this and wanting to pull this sled and like do these deliveries and everything. And they're all like, well, no, these are dogs that do this. You can't do this. You're a fox and everything. And what ends up happening, though, is one day the fox ends up going and making this delivery because the one character that he likes, she needs, like, because something happens and he has to do the delivery for her or something, and he basically goes there, and it's kind of this place out in the middle of the nowhere, and it's basically comes to find out that there's something kind of weird going on out there with this character out there, this walrus type character. And basically this walrus type character is trying to plan to you know, melt the Arctic, and he has this whole big scheme that he's trying to do. And basically because of that, though, the snow dogs that usually do the deliveries and everything have been like taken hostage and taken away, and this you know, the fox has to do these deliveries and all, but sort of that's what's going on. And also the fox has to try and have his friends help him save the day and stop this walrus from, you know, ending, you know, trying to melt the Arctic and everything like that. But it's definitely more for kids and stuff, though, but it was a very, very fun movie here. Like I said, this one here is called Arctic Dogs. The next one here is from Universal. This is directed by Paul Feig, and I really like this movie. This stars Emilia Clarke and Henry Golden, and it's a movie here called Last Christmas. And all the music in here is by George Michael. I really like. They thought they use like some of his really known music, and then they use some like much more like lesser known music, which I really liked it as well. And every time I see the cover though, I keep thinking Last Christmas. And I think of the song because that was a big part of this movie. This is basically though about Emilia Clarke's character who works in this kind of like year-round Christmas store where it's like Christmas like ornaments, trees, all that kind of stuff. But it's open all year round for people who want to buy Christmas stuff. And she's really into Christmas. And she recently was very sick, and she's now recovered from that and working there. And she works for Emma Thompson's character. Emma Thompson was also one of the writers of this movie as well, but she works for Emma Thompson, and they work together in this place. And Emma Thompson's character is always kind of like, worried about her because she knows how she was sick in the past. So she kind of lets things slide if she kind of messes up or does something incorrect in the store and that kind of stuff. And one day, though, in the store, Henry Golding's character kind of comes in there, and she starts talking to him, and like it's basically about their, how she starts to like him and everything. But it's kind of weird though because he's always like kind of coming around, and like he says, "Oh, I don't have a phone, so you can't call me," and he's always kind of coming around at night. And kind of like he's like a little mysterious and stuff like that. And it's kind of like she's trying to figure out exactly like, does he like me? Why is he kind of like this? Why is he kind of like, not giving me his number and not telling me too much about himself? But he's always around and he's always here. But it's a really, really well done romantic comedy drama movie, which I honestly really like this movie a lot. A very different movie for Paul Feig too, because normally I'm pretty sure most of the movies he's like or the writer or one of the writers on, and this was like I said, it was written by Emma Thompson, was one of the writers, and I thought she did a great job with the script of this movie. I honestly really like this. It's a great Christmas movie. It is sad though, so keep that in mind. It is sad as well. On here though, this has lots of different features. Has alternate opening and ending on here, deleted scenes and a blooper reel, has a bunch of different featurettes on here on the making of the movie, has a commentary track on here with the director and Emma Thompson. So lots and lots of features on this movie, but another one I would definitely recommend you guys check out. Really, really like this one here. The next one here, Warner Brothers sent our free copy of this one to let you guys know this one is available. It's a movie here which is directed by and starring Edward Norton called Motherless Brooklyn. This is another one that has a really great cast because it has Edward Norton, Bruce Willis, has Alec Baldwin in here, William Dafoe, and this is basically though about Alec Baldwin's character, who is a private investigator, and he works for Bruce Willis's character, and he also works with Ethan Suplee. And they all work as like these private investigators, and they're going on like this case in the beginning, and Bruce Willis is kind of like, you stay here, I got to talk to these people. And Bruce Willis kind of his character got himself kind of with this group of these people, and like it wasn't really great, and you don't know exactly what's going on here with these, because in the very beginning of this movie he ends up getting shot and he dies. And it's basically though about Edward Norton's character going and trying to get to the bottom of who was Bruce Willis talking to, why this happened, why these people try and kill him. And there's a lot of other things going on as well in here, but that's like basically though he's like solving the mystery of what happened to him and why this happened and everything. And I actually like this one. And Edward Norton's character though, he has like sort of like a Tourette's kind of situation going on, where like it makes it really difficult for him, and he's always like saying things real loud, and if he gets stressed, things kind of get worse. His Tourette's it's a Tourette's sort of type of condition that he has, but things get worse and worse when he gets stressed, and he's getting stressed a lot because of what he's going on through trying to solve this whole thing. And on here though, this has a making of on here, as well as a commentary track on here with Edward Norton and deleted scenes on this one. And the next one here is one I just want you guys know is available. This one is from Warner Brothers as well. They sent our free copy of this one as well. And this is the anime series which airs on Adult Swim called FLC. And this one here has this is a series that started 20 years ago, and that Adult Swim ended up bringing back the series, which was really cool to bring the series back after 20 years with 2 new series. And it was progressive, so it's FLC Progressive and FLC Alternative. So it has on here a 2-disc set here, and also includes digital copies of the show as well. But a really pretty cool anime series here. And on here though, feature wise, this has a bunch of different features. It has things, some featurettes on here about meeting the creators. It has the making of FLC, Progressive and Alternative, and also has some behind the scenes and a feature on here on the English voice actors on this one. But like I said, just want you guys know that this one was available on Blu-ray here in the 2 series collection. Next one here is from Paramount. And I thought this was a really fun movie. And this is a movie starring John Cena. John Leguizamo's in the film. And it's called Playing with Fire. And this is... It's basically, though, about John Cena, who's running this. It's basically smoke jumpers who are like firefighters who end up jumping from airplanes if there's like a terrible fire out in the middle of like the woods and like really like bad areas. They end up, jumping down and like and putting fires out from the airplanes and things like that. And the one day, though, when he's at the firehouse, they end up, they end up getting this call about this fire out in this cabin, and they end up rescuing these kids that were there. And basically, though, John Cena tells the kids, well, how can we contact your parents? And they're like saying, oh, well, our parents are not nearby right now. We were staying in the cabin by ourselves. So then, like, they're like waiting, for the parents to get there. And John Cena's like, well, you guys can stay at the firehouse and wait. And it's kind of all about the what's going on. And the kids there are kind of causing all kind of like problems. And like John Cena's like trying to hold it together and deal with the kids because the kids are going crazy. And like John Leguizamo, though, I love John Leguizamo's character in here, though, because there's this great scene when he's like making food, like he's making like these pancakes, and he says, oh, I made these pancakes and I put extra gluten in them. And I know John Leguizamo, though, I've been a fan of him forever, and he was great in here. Keegan-Michael Kay is in here as well. And then Judy Greer is in here, and Judy Greer is the character that John Cena's character likes, and she like is a scientist who's like doing like some work out there nearby. But it's a really, really fun movie. Definitely one I would recommend you guys check out. It has on here, though, a bunch of different features. It has story time with John Cena, deleted scenes, bloopers, outtakes, so lots and lots of stuff on this one. The next one here is from Screen Media, and it's a movie that stars Nicolas Cage and Kelsey Grammer called Grand Isle. And this one is a very, very like interesting movie. Like I didn't know much going into this one, and I have to say I pretty much watched like every movie that Nicolas Cage releases. Like in the last like probably 5 years, I think I've seen like everyone. Like I don't know, I've always been a fan of Nicolas Cage too, and I especially like the stuff he's doing in recent times because they're much more out there, like different movies. And this one is basically, though, about his character and his wife who live in this kind of house, and it's like sort of out in the middle of nowhere a little bit, and it's like it's set during this like terrible storm that's approaching, and so, you see in the very beginning of this movie, though, this like robber coming to the house, and Nicolas Cage character shoots him, and he like runs and like messes up his fence outside. So at the beginning of this movie, this guy who's like this handyman comes to help fix the fence. Nicolas Cage is like, well, his character's like, well, I'll pay you this amount of money, but if you get it done today. If you don't get it done today, you're going to get like $100. And so basically the guy's going to lose money because he spent more money buying the materials and everything. But basically, though, ends up the storm comes, and it's this horrific storm, so the guy has to stay there at the house, and it's kind of all about what's going on in this house. And Nicolas Cage's character's wife is kind of like hitting on this guy, and it's this really awkward thing, and the guy's like, well, I need to get back to my wife, and I can you get me home? And like the wife is angry that he can't come home because of this storm. And also too, in the very beginning of this movie, you see this guy getting interviewed and talked to by Kelsey Grammer's character, saying, why'd you do this, and tell me exactly how this happened. So he's kind of telling the story about how this happened, and he's all bloody, so something is going to happen. And you saw in the very beginning what Nicolas Cage did to the guy that was like the robber, so something is going to happen. But this was actually a really, really interesting movie here. Like I said, this one here is called Grand Isle. The next one here is from Mill Creek, and this is a show that I had never seen before, and it's called The Mindy Project, and this is the complete series here on Blu-ray. This stars Mindy Kaling, and it's basically, though, about her character who is a doctor and at this hospital, and it's kind of it goes through all about like her relationships, kind of ups and downs, and who she's dating, and then kind of like the kind of go-ons at the hospital, and the kind of problems, and the kind of characters that kind of come in and come and go, and that kind of thing, essentially. But it's actually a pretty funny show. Like I said, I never saw any episodes of this one when this was on. And this has on here, though, all 117 episodes, so it ran for 6 seasons here in the for a first time ever released on Blu-ray in a complete collection. Also in here, feature-wise, it has deleted scenes and a gag reel. I'll show you guys, though, a look inside. And here's the discs and everything. So it's like season 1, disc 1, season 2, disc 3, so it's it goes from each disc number. So it's season 1, disc 1, disc 2. So yeah, so it's each different season here. But like I said, this is a show I had never seen before, and a lot of character actors too pop up in here. Like Beth Grant is one of the characters in the show as well, and I've always been a fan of Beth Grant. She's a great character actress. So I always think of her from Tu Wong Fu, and then I think of her from Donnie Darko. Like those are the two I always think of her from most. The next one here is from Cleopatra Entertainment. It's a movie that stars Lin Shaye and Weston Gage Coppola, who's Nicolas Cage's son. And it's a movie here called Get Gone. This is another one that I thought was kind of cool. The only thing about it was like it was one of those movies where the gore, it was almost like they were going to film the gore like kind of like as pickups or something. So it's not very gory. Like you don't see much. It's not like a gory slasher film, but it was pretty cool though. Honestly, I mean, I actually like this, and I always love Lin Shaye, and Lin Shaye was great in here. But this is basically though about like this family that is like being told that they need to leave their land, and it's like it's like Lin Shaye and her husband and her kids, and her kids have some kind of this sort of skin condition, so they have kind of like bluish tint to their skin. They kind of look like the way the zombies looked a little with their skin in like the original Dawn of the Dead, like that bluish kind of like thing, like to their look. It's basically though they're there, and in the very beginning of this movie, this guy's telling them that they need to get off this land because it's like, I think it's like a power company or some kind of company wants this land and needs to get it. And at the same time, a group of these people who work together at the office are going on like this excursion trip, like a kind of like a team building kind of exercise. So they're going out there into this land as just kind of like a a team building thing. And they go out there, and this family that is like told they have to get off the land is like the kids have all cracked up from this, and they basically are going after the people and team building exercise and like coming after them and to kill them, and they're trying to survive, and it's like, and then like kidnapping some of them, and they have all their plans. So it kind of has a vibe of like Hills Have Eyes mixed with like Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and like kind of all those things mixed together a little bit. But like I said though, I'm not sure if I'm right about this, but it definitely had the vibe though with the kills where it was like they were gonna like do them as like inserts later, and then they didn't. So like you didn't see like 90% of the stuff. So it was kind of like almost like PG-13 gore. It was an R-rated movie, but like the gore in a lot of it was sort of PG-13ish. It's hard to explain, but I still really did like this one. I thought there was a lot of cool parts to this movie. The next ones here are from ITN Distribution. The first three are also ITN and Mill Creek titles, but this is one I'm so excited about. And this one, releases next Tuesday, and it will be in Walmart, as well as a number of these other ones as well, will be as well in Walmart. But I know for 100% certain this one will be, from what I've been told. And it's a movie that I acted in with, Danny the Cinestalker from YouTube. And we're in the opening of this movie. So like, I think it's like the first 10 minutes of this movie, we're like these guys wandering out into the woods and everything, and like kind of what ends up happening to us. But it's a movie here called Restricted Area, and I'm so excited about this one releasing. It's directed by Christopher M. Don, and it's a really great movie about these guys going out into the woods, and someone's kind of coming after them and stuff out there. But it's an absolute one I would definitely recommend you guys check out. And if you guys get to see this one, I definitely let me know what you guys think of this one. Like I said, really excited about this one, getting a release and stuff. And like I said, from what I've been told and everything, it will be in Walmarts, but I'll be showing next Tuesday and stuff. The next one here is a movie here called What the Night Can Do. This one is also available from ITN Distribution. This is about this girl going back with her family to see her grandfather, and this girl is like having these bad dreams and everything, and it's kind of about like family and how they kind of lost track. The mother lost track with her grandfather, and it's kind of like all her father, and it was kind of like all these kind of things, and the drama of the family and all that kind of stuff. Here, like I said, this one is called What the Night Can Do. This one here is a movie called The Girl in the Crawl Space, and this is produced by Henrik Koto and directed by John Oak Dalton. And another movie I'm going to show too is from one that Henrik directed. This is a movie, like I said, called The Girl in the Crawl Space. This is about this girl who, survived from the serial killer, ended up getting away from him. But after this had happened, she kind of had not spoke or anything like that. And it's about a group of people, was it? I think it was people. I can't remember. They moved to the new town, and they came back to town, and they found out about the one girl who this happened to and wasn't talking, and they were trying to see if the one girl could kind of get her to talk and kind of tell, you know, what had happened and like more, because she never really has been able to speak. So that's kind of what it is, and kind of like the dramatics of going through kidnapping and all that kind of stuff. But I thought this one was actually pretty well done. This one here is a movie called Pagan Warrior, and this is from ITN distribution as well. And this is, I think the other title was like called like Vikings versus Krampus or something like that, was like the alternate title I was reading on this one. And this is produced by you know, Scott Jeffrey, and I've filmed some scenes for some of his movies like The Tooth Fairy and some upcoming ones that are going to be coming soon like Cyber Bride and stuff like that. And this movie though is basically though about these Vikings, and it was kind of about like something had happened to the one's family, and they ended up putting this like kind of like calling upon the Krampus to go and get revenge. And it's basically though about Krampus, you know, coming after these Vikings that they ended up killing the one's family and stuff like that. But it's a really cool mixture between like a Game of Thrones kind of like vibe, and then mixing it with like a horror movie with this Krampus killer in there. And it's a real cool mix up, you know, mash up together with these ones. And the last one from ITN distribution is a movie called, this one is directed by Henrik Koto, and this is Ouija Room. This one was about this girl who is super agoraphobic, and she's like afraid of leaving her house. She can't do anything. She's just pretty much stuck in the house, having all these hard times dealing with all this stuff. And she ends up though her boyfriend, her brother ends up getting going to the store and buying like a bunch of board games and stuff like that, since she doesn't go anywhere. And the one thing she ended up getting was the Ouija board, and she starts messing with the Ouija board, and essentially it's about her talking to spirits and seeing these spirits, and it's kind of like the outcome of, you know, what's going on with all that stuff. This one here feature wise though has a commentary track on this one. And the next one's here from Vinegar Syndrome. It's a movie here called Flesh Eating Mothers. This is a movie that I always thought was a really fun, kind of goofy, wacky film. It's basically, though, about, like, all of a sudden the mothers in this town, something is making them like kind of like become cannibalistic, and it's about like the kids trying to figure out how to stop this and solve this, and there's like these crazy scenes of the mothers like attacking the kids and all this kind of stuff. And like I said, it's a really wacky, over the top movie, but it's a really, really fun film. On here though, it's got a brand new newly scanned and restored in 2K from 16mm archival elements. They did a great job cleaning up the film. Vinegar Syndrome though always does such an amazing job though on their transfers. Also has on here a brand new commentary track on here with the director, moderated by film historian Michael Gielgud, as well as Blood and Laughs, an interview with the director on this one, interview on here with the producer. On here, the next one from Vinegar Syndrome as well. There's nothing bad on this cover, but just so no one says anything, there's this one after I was watching this, I'm like, I don't think I had seen this one before. I don't believe so, and it's called Zombie Island Massacre. And on here, though, this has a brand new 2K scan from its original 35mm camera negative. And this is about, it's basically, though, about a group of these people who are going on, like, a trip together, and they're all going like it's one of those ones where everybody doesn't know each other or anything, but they're all going on like this like boat trip, going out to kind of like visit around in islands and stuff like that, and like getting tours on the islands and going to see them, going around kind of like a cruise, but like on this small ship, and like getting off and looking at them and meeting the people of the island and all that kind of stuff. And when they all go there, it's kind of like all these different wacky characters and stuff that are on the boat. It was making me think of that one movie Raw Force, I think is what it was called. It was making me think of that one a little bit. And basically, though, that Vinegar Syndrome released that one as well a number of years back. But it's basically, though, they go to the islands and everything, but when they go to one island, they witness this voodoo ceremony going on, and they end up bringing back a person who had died. They bring him back to life. And it's basically, though, about the people who are on the island, and the person that came back to life is like coming after them, and like they're hiding out in this like mansion on the island. It's like a really, really crazy but fun movie. But on here, feature-wise, this has a theatrical trailer, multiple TV spots, original promotional sizzle reel on this one, and the last one from Vinegar Syndrome. Now this is a adults movie, so keep that in mind. This is a 18 and up adults film. It's a movie here called 1001 Erotic Nights, and this one also has 1001 Erotic Nights too. But like I said, Vinegar Syndrome does an absolutely amazing job cleaning up these movies. and especially like ones that are like much like you always wonder too. I always feel like they should have a documentary on like finding the negatives and like the whole process of cleaning them up, because I don't know, to me that's like a really interesting aspect. It's kind of like how they find some of these negatives, because you feel like some of them may have been like lost, and to find such pristine, and to be able to clean them up as good as they do is amazing. But on here though, this is newly restored in 2K from the original 35mm negatives on this one. But this is basically though about like this in this harem, and it's basically this one in the harem telling these tales, and they're all adult themes tales, and that's essentially pretty much all I say. And the next one here is from Troma, and this is one I was so excited when I heard Troma was releasing this one on Blu-ray, because this I would say is probably my top favorite Troma movie and favorite film directed by Lloyd Kaufman. And this is a movie here called Terra Firma, and this is the 2-disc 20th anniversary edition here on Blu-ray for the first time. Like I said, this is one I was always hoping Troma would release this one on Blu-ray, and like back in the day too, when this one first released, I watched this movie so many times. I always love movies that deal with making movies, and especially about like horror movies that deal with making movies, like this film. One of the other ones was like Skeleton Crew, The Dead Hate the Living, but this one has always been my top favorite of all the movies about like making movies, with a horror setting. And this is basically though about Lloyd Kaufman's playing the director in this one, who's blind, and he's like basically trying to make this horror movie, make this film, and things are going horrifically wrong. People who are associated with the film are getting killed, and it's kind of like, who is the killer? And it's one of those ones where they're kind of hinting at who it could be, and there's like crazy over the top, extreme gory death scenes in here. But it is a really, really fun movie. If you guys have never seen this one and you like a fan of Troma movies and like out there movies, definitely watch this one. On here though, it has the like I said, it's a 2-disc set and has the director's cut of the film, introduction by Lloyd Kaufman, a look back at the behind the scenes 20 years later with the cast, talking about the movie now, exclusive commentaries. It has the original making of documentary here on disc 2, music videos, bloopers, audition reel, interviews. So lots and lots of features on this one, but a really, really fun movie. The next ones here are both from a Vision Films. It's a movie that's directed by Thomas J. Churchill called Nation's Fire. And this one, I loved Bruce Dern in this movie. Bruce Dern like steals the show in here, and he even like plays like a younger version of himself in the movie as well. And I don't know, Bruce Dern is always amazing, and he was like great in this movie. I thought it was so cool they got him to be in the film. And this is basically though about like this girl whose father was Bruce Dern's character, and he had died like a little while back, and she has this kind of biker gang, the group that she like a biker club that she has, and she's also a like kind of like a bail bondsman kind of one. She like people who like didn't pay, or she's kind of like what Dog the Bounty Hunter does a little bit like that. Essentially that's what she does, and she's kind of going after people. It's kind of about her club, but it's also dealing with like this rival biker gang going on, and kind of like, and it's also dealing with like heavy family drama about her relationship with her mother, and like all these kind of things. And there's a lot of flashbacks to her with her father when she was younger, and like kind of about her life and stuff. But it was actually really, really well done. Chuck Lindell is also in this movie, but like I said, was really well done. It has on here though a bunch of different interviews on here with the cast. There was a really great interview with Bruce Dern on here as well. It also has a music video on the film, a music video feature wise. And the next one here is from Vision Films as well. This is one I just want you guys know is available. It's a movie here called Wishman, which stars Andrew Steele, Kirby Bliss Blanton, Bruce Davison, and Danny Trejo. And this one it's basically about this motorcycle cop who has this accident, and after he has this accident, he recovers from this, but he meets this kid who has leukemia, and he has his wishes that he wants to be a motorcycle patrolman. And it's kind of about him, taking this kid under his wing and kind of showing him as like, because this is about the founder of Make-A-Wish, and it's kind of about how Make-A-Wish came to be, from his inspiration from this kid, and realizing that there's a lot of other people out there who are very sick and have things that they really want to do, and places that they really want to go, and it's, about like granting the wishes. But it's a really, really well done film here. Like I said, it's called Wishman. And the next one here is from Scream Team Releasing, and this is 1031 Part 2. This is a really fun horror anthology film here, and I'll have a link below where you guys can order this one. And it's a bunch of different segments, and it also has like kind of fake grindhouse kind of horror trailers first. So I think it was like 3 or 4 horror trailers, and then the different segments. One of them was like that I really liked was like these this like Jason kind of guy wearing a mask following around this girl, and then he goes to the window and he's like planning to kill the girl, and then like at the same time this weird guy comes to the window and he's like going, well, I've been watching her first, and then there's like this like crazy clown comes, and it's kind of like the discussions back and forth between them, and the Jason character isn't talking. There was one about like this babysitter babysitting this kid, and there was like this weird type of thing in the basement. One of them was about like this nun. A bunch of different ones in here, but there were a bunch of really fun segments on here. If you guys like horror anthologies though, would definitely recommend you guys check this out. This one is also from Scream Team releasing, and this is called Cyborgs, and this is like done in the style of like a 90s, like a kind of like a super low budget 90s like action film. And it's about like these robots, kind of like robot humanoid characters, and they're trying to like stop this bad guy from going and like causing all kind of like coming after them and causing all kind of destruction and everything. And it's like the dialogue and the way it's like acted and everything, like I said, it has this like real like sort of like direct-to-video 90s action kind of vibe to this one. On here, though, it has lots of different features. It has 6 commentaries, trailers, making of featurettes, the original Cyborg short film, deleted and extended scenes, and this also has like a look to it to look like a old like VHS kind of tape, because it has like a little sticker on there, like the price and the way it's aged, and like a sticker on the back, like it's peeled off and stuff. The next one here is from Time Life Releasing, and this is I Got You Babe, the best of Sonny and Cher. Here, and it's like a collection here, and this one is a 5-disc collection here of the show, which is cool because I never really saw episodes of this. When I think though of I don't know if I'm the only one, but when I think of like Sonny Bono, I like always think of him acting in Troll. Like to me, like he stole the show in that movie, and like I don't know why, like I always like directly think of that. Like no matter what, I think of like him in Troll and how much I loved his character in that. But this has on here though 10 hilarious never before released episodes of the Sonny and Cher show. It has on here with guest stars like Dick Clark, Jerry Lewis. Also has on here Sonny and Cher pilot appearance on the Barbara McNair show. It has a 70s interview on here with Jerry Boulevard interviewing the duo, featuring an impromptu performance of I Got You Babe. Brand new interviews on here with Frankie Avalon, as well as producers on this one. So lots of features on here. The last ones here are all from Wild Eye Releasing. It's a bunch of different releases here. And this one here is a movie called Spirits in the Dark. And this one was about this guy who like watched this videotape, and then he ends up like wanting to investigate it. And he goes out on like to this area, and it's almost kind of like driving to like a Silent Hill kind of thing, because he's like driving through this weird like abandoned town. And I always love stuff that's like abandoned towns and that kind of stuff. And he's like driving through this weird town, and it's kind of like what he's going and seeing and stuff like that. And you kind of come to find out more about what this tape was and about this town and like kind of what everything means and stuff like that. This one here is called Sweet Dreams. This is about this couple that ends up moving to this new house. But right when they get there though, it's like they're both having these kind of like sleep paralysis, kind of like you know, that kind of thing when you're like moving like this, and they're in the house too. They're like starting to kind of feel like they're seeing things and hearing things, and it's kind of like things like are getting worse and worse and worse as it goes along, and they're trying to figure out exactly like what does all this mean, exactly what is going on, why are we having these sleep things happening, like what is causing all this one. This one here, I'll cover this up because it's a little gross. This is Todd Sheets, the sequel to his film Zombie Rampage, and this is Zombie Rampage 2. Like I said, it's just a little like gory, so that no one says anything. This is from the Wild Eyes Raw and Extreme line, but this is basically though, because Todd Sheets made the original film, I think it was like in 1989. It was a shot-on-video film, but then he made a sequel, and the sequel was never finished. And the sequel now has finally been released, and he put it together and compiled it together to finish the film. And it's like about a group of people surviving the zombie outbreak, and it's kind of like the characters and everything and what they're going through. But it's a really fun movie, so it was really cool that this one was finally released. And the last one here is from Wild Eye as well, from the Raw and Extreme line. It's a movie called Abduction 101. And this is about like it's about these 3 girls who are going hiking, and they kind of hiking out in the middle of the woods, and you kind of know like it's not going to be a good thing, and they go out there and kind of discover this weird kind of like, it's like kind of like a house fort kind of weird thing out there with like these tarps up and all this weird stuff. And they basically come to find out though that these guys, and there's like something bad going on with like kidnappings and stuff, and it's essentially them find themselves like kidnapped themselves essentially, and they're trying to get away from these guys and everything. It's like a really super intense movie here. Anyway, though, guys, that's all for the review portion of this video. Lots and lots of reviews this time around, but thanks so much for watching and subscribing, and I'll see you guys later.